Michael Shainblum is a landscape time-lapse and aerial photographer based in San Francisco, California. He has been working professionally as a photographer and filmmaker for 13 years since the age of 16. Michael first made a name for himself through his unique creativity and the ability to capture scenes and moments in his distinct style of surreal visual storytelling. A dedication to challenging the boundaries of creativity, as well as a flair for coming up with unique ideas, has since resulted in Michael being commissioned by large clients including Nike, Samsung, Facebook, LG, Apple, and Google. You will also be able to find Michael's work published widely by media outlets such as National Geographic, Wired Magazine, and the Weather Channel. Recently, I had the opportunity to catch up with Michael, learn a little bit about how he got started, where he is today, and what he hopes for in the future. Come join us and learn a little bit about Michael Shainblum.
Hello.
Tell us who you are.
My name is Michael Shainblum. I am a photographer and filmmaker, landscape photographer, based out of San Francisco.
San Francisco, but probably not often in San Francisco.
Nah, not that often.
How often are you at home?
I kind of split my time between San Francisco and San Diego because I have family in San Diego, and then I'm also traveling probably half the time.
Yeah. Half the time.
Yeah, it's half travel, half post-processing, and dealing with the businessy stuff.
We are in Oregon, and it's so funny. We're at a conference, but Michael, you're not here for the conference. You're working on a project up and down the coast.
Yeah, Joe and I are...
Joe back there.
Joe Diaz, we're working on some commercial video stuff. So we just happen to be pretty close to the area. Thought, it's an hour or two drive to Newport. Go hang out with some friends.
It's awesome.
Meet some new people and hang out. And if Chris needs anything and needs an extra hand, which he definitely doesn't, I'm down to help out and teach. And it's been fun so far. It's been cool.
Well, that's very cool. How'd you get into this photography? I think I saw a video that tells your story, but give us the basics. You were pretty young diving in.
Yeah, I got into photography. Well, the first time I took any pictures, I think it was when I grabbed my parents' camera in elementary school. It was like a 1 megapixel Olympus camera.
Oh my goodness.
And I took it to New York. And it was so fun. I was just taking pictures of everything. I came back with like hundreds of pictures of New York. And then there's like a few framed because they're like my first pictures I ever took. 1 megapixel, little like postcard size, And then, of course, there was like also the pictures of me in front of the Statue of Liberty and things like that. But
you got to get the touristy stuff, right?
yeah, I was always into art. I always liked creating things, so drawing and painting and sculpting, building Lego houses and things like that. And so I think photography for me was just an extra extension of being creative. And I found I liked the balance of being in field, being able to go on these little journeys and be able to share those experiences with other people, but then also be creative and express yourself through that medium. And then, of course, taking the pictures back home and post-processing them. And, then you're kind of in your own space, you're in your own mindset when you're doing that. So there's both sides of the process that I found really interesting, even before I really knew how to use Photoshop or anything like that. But
you've probably gone through many versions of Photoshop.
Yeah, well, when I first started editing my pictures, it was with a program called Fireworks. It was a program that was... it was made by Macromedia, which was the company that Adobe bought out, and they bought out Macromedia for a program called Flash.
Okay.
Because they wanted Adobe Flash. It was Macromedia Flash. That was Macromedia's like big program. They also had some like they had some HTML software too. But Fireworks I don't think that exists anymore. But we had it on our school's computers. So I would go after school in middle school. I would take some of my pictures and I would like bring it into Fireworks and play with the colors and things like that. It was a lot of fun, and I took a darkroom class in middle school too, and that was just a blast. I had so much fun in the darkroom learning that whole process. So I was doing it a lot in middle school, and then I was also doing a lot of drawing and painting and web design, and anything I could get my hands on that was visually creative, I would try out.
So when you started, when did you realize, okay, this is what I want to do for profession or for a living? Tell us about that.
I got really into it at high school. Got my first DSLR. I think it was like a Canon Rebel XT, if you remember that one. And I brought that thing to school. I'd take pictures of everything I possibly could. I'd take pictures of my friends. I'd take pictures of the trash can if there was a cool texture on it. Pictures of the desk with like writing on it and stuff like that. So I just was obsessed with the process of taking pictures and editing them by that point. And so the way in which I started doing it as a career actually happened in high school. It was my sophomore year. I was 16. I was looking for a job like most people do. I was applying to McDonald's and Vaughn's and all sorts of supermarkets. No one wanted to hire me, which is fine. Maybe I just wasn't good at the interview process or whatever, but no one wanted to hire me, and I was like, well, I need money for things. So I started getting a few offers to do little things with photography. So it started out really small with, a friend who had a band who they were playing a concert.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
they wanted
photography.
Yeah, like, $20 for a show or something. Senior portraits, events. Then that started going into weddings and action sports. And then I started getting into video and doing behind the scenes video editing and video editing for magazines. It was just this kind of like, it started out as this little seed, and one little plant comes out, and then all of a sudden this big tree starts growing out of it, and I start doing all sorts of things in photography. And yeah, so that's been my only job since I was 16.
Wow.
Is photography, and it's taken so many different shapes and forms over the years, but at this point it's mostly landscape, time-lapse, aerial, a little bit of filmmaking too.
And you're on such a big stage, that people know you everywhere. Is it to the point where you've lost a little bit of the passion because it's, work? Or is it just the same since day one, passionate, addicted, and, doesn't even faze you with how much work you put into your work?
I would say, I would say that there's moments in time where I feel uninspired, where I feel burnt out. It happens to everyone. You get burnt out, but then you find new inspiration that keeps you going. I've had so many moments where I feel burnt out or feel uninspired or feel like I don't know what I'm doing or if I'm progressing.
Wow.
As far as the actual passion for it, though, the love for it has never died. There's not been a single day since picking up a camera where I haven't lost the passion for photography and the love for it and the appreciation for it and the appreciation for, other artists as well. But there's definitely been a lot of moments being burnt out and uninspired, for sure.
Do you feel that those times are what we need in order to progress?
Yeah. If you feel, the moment you feel too comfortable is the moment that, you're not progressing or elevating your work, right? You need to be building and working towards something. And, we all, no matter who you are in photography or in anything really, there's always something new to learn.
Absolutely.
And as soon as there's a moment where you don't think you can learn anything else, that's a roadblock that, yeah. So I think the moments being uninspired have definitely helped me to find new avenues of inspiration. Like, if I feel burnt out on a certain genre of photography, I'll switch it up, try something new. Like maybe I've shot too much time lapse, and I'm like, man, I'm done shooting time lapse right now. But then I'm like, let me get back into macro photography. That would be a fun thing to explore. And I don't know if anything will come from it, but it's something new to keep the creative juices flowing. And I mean, the thing is, it's what I would do if I wasn't working anyways. Like, all I would want to do if I wasn't working is taking pictures and making art. So why not? It's all I know how to do. It's all I do, honestly. So it just makes sense that it would be what I do as a career also.
Well, you mentioned macro. I mean, you're taking amazing captures of the universe, the Milky Way, and now you're talking about macro. Is it something that you've done before? Is that something that you are now thinking about doing more of since you mentioned it?
I did macro photography before getting into astrophotography. I loved macro photography. I had a reverse lens bellows, which is like this bellows that attaches to your camera and reverses the lens to turn it into a macro lens.
Wow, no way.
I bought it for like $10. And I've had various macro lenses. Really, when I got into photography, I looked at all the different things you could do with photography, and I said, I want to do all of them. So I tried every single thing that you could do in photography that I was capable of doing.
Right.
Like if I knew somebody who skateboarded, I'm like, I need to take pictures of you skateboarding. If I knew a musician, I'm like, I need to take your band photos. And I need to do concert photography. If somebody was getting married, I'll take pictures of that. We could make that work, you know what I mean? Landscapes, abandoned buildings, macro, of course the stars came into play. I like taking pictures.
Do you feel like you picked up learnings shooting a variety of things that apply to what you do now, or is it totally different and unrelated?
I think that everything is connected in some way. Like when I was studying commercial photography in school, learning these really advanced lighting patterns for models in studio or for product, that knowledge has helped me to understand lighting and landscape photography, right? Especially if you're doing post-processing, you're dodging and burning. You need to make, when you're processing the images and you want to accentuate an area and highlight a spot on a rock, you need to know where that light would actually hit for it to make sense, or just accentuate those areas. You don't want to, post-process in a way that doesn't make sense lighting-wise. So learning those lighting techniques for studio and for portrait definitely helped me even in my landscape photography. I think it all connects in some way. Like there's definitely principles that I don't use that I've learned in all my other styles of photography. And especially when you're talking, I think it's important for artists to also talk and discuss art with people who do something completely different, because you always learn something new. Like when I talk to somebody who just does portrait photography, or like talking with Joe who just is into commercial video and cinema. I mean, I learn new things every single conversation talking with other artists who are doing something a little different.
Well, on that note, as we left dinner, you mentioned something that intrigued me. I love podcasts, but I really don't listen to much as far as photography. What are the other sides of Michael that you explore through podcasts, or what are other interests that people might not know about?
I like comedy a lot, so like especially if I'm processing images, I like to laugh, so I'll listen to like stand-up comedians and things like that.
While you're processing?
Yeah.
No way. That's cool.
I need like I know people who need dead silence when they're processing. I'm the opposite. I like music and I like comedy and things like that. I've binge watched TV shows while processing on the other screen. I'll have like Breaking Bad on one screen, and then I've got I'll be processing like a Milky Way shot or something on the other screen, and then but it's funny, I'll like binge watch an entire show, and then I'll like call my girlfriend and she's like, "How did you watch that show so quick?" I'm like, "Because I'm sitting there processing a lot of images."
When I process, I have to have sound, so it's usually music. But talking to me is distracting, so it's fascinating that I wonder if whatever you're watching translates into your photo editing. Like, oh, that's a mean sky. Like, were you watching Breaking Bad that day? Like,
it's definitely possible. And that's not to say I'm not also procrastinating. I could start watching the show and I'm just like, whatever. The photo can wait. That's why that might actually be why it takes me so long to release some photos.
I gotcha.
Because I'm sitting there watching too many TV shows.
Well, how do you balance? I mean, you're on the road a lot, shooting new content, project for this, project for that, your own personal project. Any method to the madness, or is it go with the flow?
Go with the flow. I try and find a healthy balance between being a photographer and also being a normal person. That can be hard sometimes. Like if you're on the road for a month and you're just taking pictures every day and camping every day, and then you get back into society and you're like,
yeah,
what's going on here? You know? I try and balance it out. I like to take breaks from it. You know, not think about processing or work or anything for a day or two. Like and this probably might not be a good thing to do, but sometimes I'll just like ditch my phone and I won't respond to anything for a day, and I'll just clear out the kind of refresh, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, I go through phases. I've gone through phases of working too much, and in turn I feel like that actually made my art suffer by working too much and focusing too much on it and not doing anything else. So yeah, that's been something to try and learn over the years, and I'm still learning what the proper balance between work and social and also even within the work is like you've got your creative side of taking pictures, processing pictures, exploring the artistic side, and then you've got the business side. And it's like if you only do the artistic side, then the business side suffers, and then you can't pay rent. And then the opposite side, if you only do the business side and you're not taking any more pictures, you might start to feel a little uninspired, or at least just personal, for my own work, I start to feel a little uninspired. And so it's been just, I guess maybe it's half and half I've been trying to do. I don't think there's really a right or wrong answer. It's just what's kind of worked for me over time.
So what's next for you?
Just thinking of new ideas and things, some workshops, some new videos. I've been doing the YouTube channel thing. That's been a lot of fun. Been able to meet some cool people and, you know, create
some comedians.
Yeah.
Who inspires you?
Who inspires me?
Yeah.
Just in general.
In general or in photography? I'll leave it wide open.
Oh man, there's so many names I'm inspired by. I definitely gain inspiration from other people's work. I'm one of those people who, I wouldn't seek out to copy anyone, but I see an image and I'm like, man, that's amazing. Thinking to it, like,
that's all right.
Art Wolf was probably one of my biggest inspirations getting into landscape. I'd say Art Wolf, and one of the professors at Brooks Institute, his name's Ralph Clevenger. He knew Art Wolf, and he would bring him up a lot. So I would always like follow Art Wolf's stuff. And
have you met Art before?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, he is an outsider. It's a keynote.
Yeah.
So Outsiders Conference, you're an outsider. You're coming to be with us in Kanab in March. You excited? What are you going to talk on, do you think?
Oh my gosh.
If it was 45 minutes, what...
45-minute talk?
What would you pick?
We could do something time-lapse, or we could do a little night sky session, or maybe some seascapes. I don't know. I'm open to anything.
Yeah. Is it going to be tutorial? Is it going to be let me tell you my story? What do you like to talk about?
The stories are always fun because you get to talk a little bit more about your process. The tutorials are fun too, though, because then you get to kind of teach the techniques, and it definitely helps people out. Like when I release a tutorial and somebody says, "Oh, that really clicked for me," and it was really special to be able to take in this knowledge and apply it to my own work. I get a lot of pride in that too. So it's both.
Awesome.
Both are great. Yeah.
I know we're gonna definitely get you a picture with Art Wolf. That's awesome
Sweet.
that you haven't met.
No,
Maybe
yeah.
the first time.
And there's so many, in art too, it's not just photography that are people who inspire me. Like, everyone like you guys and Aaron and Alex Noriega and Ted Gore and there's so many people who inspire me, who I hang out with, but even in just different filmmakers, different directors, musicians, I get inspiration from a lot of different people, for sure. Not just in photography, I would say.
Who's your favorite band?
Favorite band?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's date you.
right now. Who do I
growing
listen to?
up right now?
I really like, one musician I like to listen to when I'm processing a lot is Bonobo.
Bonobo?
Do you know Bonobo?
No.
It's very ambient kind of world music, and it just, I don't know, I feel every time I listen to it and I'm processing it, it definitely gives me a lot of inspiration, just the different sounds, and he mixes a lot of different sounds from different cultures too.
Oh,
So
very cool.
it's kind of a fun listening experience when you're trying to be creative, or I feel like it helps the process.
Well, and if there is any chance whatsoever that somebody doesn't know how to find you, tell us where to find you. Online, social media, website, where do we go?
Website,
Which is?
shainbloomphoto.com. Shainblum Photo.
And spell that too, because I know that I can't spell very well. So
That's
Shainblum.
ShainBlum Photo. PHOTO.
Well, I guess
And then I'm on all the other things that people like to do socially, your Instagrams, your Facebooks, your YouTubes, your Twitters. And
Twitter?
I'm on Twitter. I don't do much on there, but I am on there.
Somebody was asking me, what can photographers do on Twitter? What have you done on Twitter?
Post pictures.
Yeah?
I just post pictures. Everyone's like, creating these interesting thoughts, and I'm just like, here's a photo.
Yeah.
If you want a photo. I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thanks for the time.
Yeah.
Honored to meet you.
Thanks for having me
Icon
on.
legend and an outsider in 2020. And I guess we'll find out what you talk on. Can't wait for that
We'll have to talk about it,
that
right?
opportunity. That's right. Well, bye, guys. We'll see you another day with another icon.
Bye-bye.
And I think we need to interview these guys too.
Sweet.
We got 3 icons in-house. Oh, we got some background music too. That was like right on cue, like closing music. Oh, is that Bonobo?
Bonobo is